well, I got to shout out DoseOfDion, man, because it was actually the first time I went live on YouTube. And, you know, guys don't know DoseOfDion. He put out a lot of good content for the Detroit Lions.
In this video, we are going to be talking about the Detroit Lions running back, the rookie running back, DeAndre Swift, and why his role will expand, and it should expand. Let's get it started. Welcome everybody to another video. Glad you guys are here. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to title this video, and I don't know. Can you guys see the whiteboard? If you can, it says Swift with a question mark, because that's who we're talking about today. DeAndre Swift, baby. I think this is a very good time to dive into a lot of things into detail, because we have the footage, right? We have 2 weeks until our next game, so we have a lot of things that we can dive into. And today, we're looking at DeAndre Swift. And we're not just looking at last game against New Orleans. We're looking at every game that he has played in so far, and almost all of his touches. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Every single carry. I think every single carry is actually in this video. But that's just kind of going to be something that we use for the background as well. But either way, we're discussing DeAndre Swift in today's video. Now, Swift hasn't had maybe as big a role as some people may have expected, but it also hasn't been small either, except for week 3 against Arizona. And I think, you know, we get to that, I'll discuss it. But his role hasn't been tiny because the Lions are doing a running back by committee, so it makes sense what his role is kind of looking like. But I feel like it will continue to expand like we saw against New Orleans. And I think we'll see that every single week, where maybe it gets a little bigger. And at some point, it's going to max out, right? He's not going to get every single touch. But I also do think that he's going to see an expanded role as time goes on coming out of the bye. Because what I've seen from DeAndre Swift recently shows me that he's starting to take that next step and become a prepared NFL player that's like ready to go and ready to take over a bigger role. So we're going to be looking at DeAndre Swift, kind of the progression from week 1 through week 4. And I think you're going to see a lot of things. You're going to see a lot of potential, but then you're going to see him start to click. And I think the Lions also found better ways to use him as a player and utilize him. So coming out of the draft, DeAndre Swift was known really for one thing, and that's his ability to catch the ball in the backfield. Like, sure, he was a great runner. There was no denying that. But it was also his ability to catch the football. I think PFF said he was the best receiving back in college football. He was really good, right? He caught a lot of passes. We know that didn't start off particularly well with that drop to the Chicago Bears. But either way, we knew he could catch the ball coming out of college, so we were expecting to see that with the Detroit Lions. And, you know, we've seen that here and there, and we've seen how explosive that he can be when he gets the ball in his hands out in the open field. And I think a lot of people were excited for this. I was personally excited for this because I know what Matthew Stafford did with Riddick, and I was like, okay, DeAndre Swift can do even more. Swift could be a very big part of this offense, and he could be very tough and make this offense very difficult to slow down. And I think we saw that a little bit last week against New Orleans, that, okay, this guy needs to continue to expand his role. And the Lions seemingly found a way to use him, which I think is a way that they've been missing. And I also think he has been building a lot of confidence. So we're going to be taking a look at a few clips here. We're just going to be running through a few, and I'll touch on some points as we go through here. One thing I like about DeAndre Swift is he has very good vision, and he always seems to try to run behind his blockers, okay? He doesn't try to do too much, but I actually think to a point that's kind of a fault on him, and we'll get to that when we get there. But he's very disciplined as a running back. You could tell that he was taught a certain way, and he was taught, you know, how to play running back at a high level, and he does that. He's a very smart running back. He has good vision. He reads the hole very well. He's just really good at that. Here you're going to see him against Chicago, kind of finding the hole there, kind of squirming through for a couple of yards. One thing that I've noticed about his earlier games, and as he continues to progress, is his confidence seems to be building a lot, okay? This seems to have way more confidence in week 4 than he did in week 1 and in week 2, okay? His confidence seems to be building. And I think the Lions finally put him in a position where he can really thrive. And once he's had like a big play there, he was like, okay, I feel comfortable in what we're doing here. And I think his confidence is building ever since. And that's why I think we're going to see his role continue to expand there. So you're going to see good vision throughout, you know, this entire clip for the most part. It's just sometimes I feel like maybe he's a little bit slow to the punch. This is nice. You know, he reads the hole, gets inside, gets the touchdown. This is great. I mean, this is week 1. He's already in the end zone. Swift, a hot start. That's how you want it to get started. Again, these are all of his carries that we're also going to see. You can see a good job there, once again, reading the hole. Now, I think particularly on this play, potentially he could bounce this outside right here. You know, Jason Cabot does a great job picking up the block. You see TJ Hockenson also blocking downfield. So with Khalil Mack here, maybe he can't get through. He might be able to, you know, kind of swings through. However, Cabot loses the block. He sheds it, and he gets about 6-7 yards. It's still a good run. You see Cabot gets back into it, pushes him forward. It's a good run, right? He moved through there. He got through the hole, and he made a nice little play. Then you're going to see Matthew Stafford. Now, Matthew Stafford goes to his running backs a lot. No matter who his running back is, he's going to go to him. But the thing about DeAndre Swift is he is clearly our best pass-catching running back. It's not even close. Kerryon Johnson is okay at it. Adrian Peterson, not very good at it. But DeAndre Swift is very good at it. Yes, he's had a couple of drops. We know about the drop. But DeAndre Swift is very good as a pass catcher. He's also a very good route runner, which we're going to see later. But he's a pretty reliable target for Matthew Stafford. We know he likes to go to his running backs. You see that here. A little bit slow on this one. But you can see, obviously, that Matthew Stafford has trusted him. And then, obviously, I hate to show this play. I really do. But I think there's also a lot of good out of this play. Of course, this is his drop, which would have won the game. But what you do like to see here is the route running, okay? You can see him make a little move right there. Boom. You see how he gets the linebacker flat-footed? He gets him on his heels. All of a sudden, he gets by him. Then he kind of works his way through the zone. Matthew Stafford has full trust in his man, DeAndre Swift. He's open. He drops it. Really hurts. Obviously, now 2-2 looks a lot different. But the fact is, he got open. Matthew Stafford trusted him, and that trust didn't go anywhere. I mean, they continue to have trusted him. Now, here you go. You're going to see him run inside here. And one thing that I like about what the Lions did and they have done recently is they've been getting him to the outside. One thing I've seen with DeAndre Swift is I feel like he's lacked a little bit of confidence. DeAndre Swift, to me, is just a little bit unsure of himself. You see all the potential there. You know he can read the hole. But I feel like sometimes he's just a little bit unsure of himself. He's a little slow through things. And as time goes on, he gets much better at that. So you're going to see him here. Good hole by the interior of the offensive line. I mean, this dude, who is that? That dude just ran him to the ground. But a little bit maybe slow through there. However, he kind of dives through, gets about 6-7 yards. It's still good here. Let's do another inside handoff out of the gun here where they kind of pull. Now, he does a very good cutback here. You can see the vision once again. He sees the linebacker coming through the hole. Obviously, he can't go through that hole, so he cuts back. Unfortunately, you can see on this edge, the wide receiver or tight end there wasn't able to hold up, so, he gets met there. But it's still a good run. You can see the vision, a great cutback is good. There's a lot of good from DeAndre Swift, and I feel like once the Lions and Darrell Bevell started putting him in a position where he can thrive, you see that, and you'll see that when we get to Week 4's game against Arizona. Here we go again inside. I have no problem with inside runs. He's just very effective to the outside. Now, here's where I think maybe he's a little bit still unsure of himself. Right here, okay? You stop right here. Now, he's going to look to bounce to the outside. He's a little bit slow with it. See this room? I wish he was maybe just a little bit quicker to burst out of there, and he could have broke this. But unfortunately, once he gets here, you can see that, this cornerback's kind of the way, and who is this? I think it's Hawkinson. Hawkinson wasn't able to hold his block, so he's brought down. But you want to see him kind of explode through there because he's making the right decision. He's seeing the hole. He sees where he needs to go. Again, I just think that's a little bit of being unsure of himself. And the reason I say that, and it's not just his burst alone, is because I see him later on, as time goes on, build that confidence, and all of a sudden he's hitting those holes really quick. He's not thinking about it enough. He's not thinking about it too much. Okay, here you're going to see another inside handoff. They pull a little bit. This is the one with Marvin Jones that I meant. All right, so this is one where he's going to, again, try to bounce it outside, right? You get the pull right here. It looks like it could potentially be there. Again, maybe more trust up to get outside, but then obviously Marvin loses his, so he tries to cut back in. Now, you have to understand the down and distance here, okay? The down and distance is that it's a 2nd and 2 or 3rd and 2, so he's trying to pick up the 2 yards, all right? So he doesn't want to bounce this. He's trying to get upfield and get the yards, which he kind of does. He tries to push through. One thing about Swift is he's small, but he's very tough. DeAndre Swift is a tough runner. He's going to push through the defender. He's not going to just go down easy, and he seems to be very good with holding onto the football. Here on the 3rd and long, they do a little bit of a draw here. Now, this is just a mistake between the offensive linemen. The thing is with a draw, yes, a lineman can take off down the field and be prepared to help block, like this linebacker take off upfield. The problem is Oday Abushi doesn't block either. So both of them let the tackle go through. This guy's blocking nobody, and all of a sudden Swift can't get anywhere. He makes the first man miss, which is great because, I don't know, it could have been maybe even worse. But obviously Abushi, you can see he's kind of helping him tackle him. Yeah, it was just bad blocking there. That's what it was. But now you're going to see him against New Orleans. And here's where I felt like you're saying, okay, he's in a position, the Lions maybe found out where he's comfortable, and you can see him explode early, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, this is DeAndre Swift that we saw in college. This is that confident DeAndre Swift. And we saw the potential leading up to this. Now he just looks like he's ready to go. All right, so the Lions are going to put him once again out of the shotgun, which is fine. Wherever you line him up is fine. But they put him out of shotgun. Here they're going to give him an opportunity. Again, last time, remember, he cuts back. This time he's going to bounce it to the outside. And there's no hesitation here. All right, he trusts himself to get to the edge. And that's what I think DeAndre Swift needs. He is definitely our quickest running back. No doubt. He's quicker than Kerryon. He's quicker than Peterson. It's not even a question. The thing with Adrian Peterson is this. Adrian Peterson, he's a veteran, and he will trust himself to bounce out, but he also knows his limitations that he's not that quick. However, this run by Peterson, you can see that there is some explosion here, right? He explodes to the outside, no chance for the defensive end. Picks up 7 yards on that run. 7 yards, that's a good run from Swift. He just needs to have more confidence in his abilities, and I think we see that growing, and that's why I think his role will continue to expand with the Lions, and he's going to get more touches. And I'll touch on that in a second, what I mean by more touches. Here you're going to see a little bit of a fake and then a pitch. Again, getting him to the outside where he's comfortable, where he's able to use his ability, and he just follows his blocks, does a very good job of that. Again, 7 more yards down the field. Using that speed, that's something that he brings to the table that's absolutely great and something that we've needed. Here, this one, I don't know where he's supposed to go with this. He can't bounce this to the outside clearly. I mean, they're coming off the edge. So since they're coming off the edge, the offensive line needs to create a little bit of a seam so he can slide through. There's really no seam there. He's kind of just stuck. I mean, that play was pretty much dead right from the get-go. And then you're going to see him here, Matthew Stafford making some adjustments. Now, one thing is with Swift, he's a little bit smaller, so he's not the best pass blocking running back, which can be a concern. But again, tossing it to the outside, giving the option to read the hole. Maybe he could go through here, but he decides to take it himself, get to the outside. And again, he's too fast. We're going to get 7 more yards. That's where I felt like Swift gained his confidence. The Lions said, okay, we're going to get you to the outside. This time we're going to get yourself to the outside. I don't know if they told him that or he just had that mindset coming in, but go to the outside. Use your speed, okay? You only had 4 carries in this game that went for 22 yards. Very good game, obviously. That's a little over 5 yards to carry. And then you're going to see here, this is just something that we know that he brings to the table. This is a touchdown grab. It's the arrow route. Makes you think of Theo Riddick. That's something that we thought we'd see all year with him. And I think that's something that we're going to see as time goes on throughout this year. And we're probably going to see a pretty good amount of it versus Jacksonville. Because here's a perfect example. You're going to have your inside linebacker. We talked about this yesterday. He's going to blitz off the edge. So Matthew Stafford has to go back to the blitz. It leaves running back open. You can see the trust. And it's a big gain. I mean, this is a big play. That's a big play down the field. And that's what I think that we've seen with DeAndre Swift. And that's why I think DeAndre Swift's role will continue to expand. Here's a little bit of screen. They go back to him. This one, he kind of just slips, tries to cut back in, get to behind his blockers. It's actually a good idea to go back inside. He just slips there. But what I see with DeAndre Swift is that he's continuing to build his confidence. And I think DeAndre Swift, as he builds that confidence, which he has been, and he's getting to the outside, they're understanding his role, and he's going to be quicker to it. Because he can read. He can read the defense. He can see where he needs to be. He follows his blockers. He's a disciplined running back. If he knows he needs 2 yards, he'll go upfield to make sure he gets those 2 yards. He's not going to be too bouncy with it. But I also think he was just a little bit too slow, a little bit hesitant sometimes. And I think we see him get better with that against New Orleans, where he's like, forget that. I'm going right to where I want to get to, and you can see the speed there. Now, one thing with this snap count is this. He's actually been out there for a pretty good amount of snaps. First game, 44% of snaps. Second game, 34% of snaps. Third game, only 9%. We'll get to that. And last week, 38%. Now, in week 3, he only had 9% of snaps. Only six times was he on the field. The thing with this game is the Lions went all Adrian Peterson. It would be nice to see maybe Swift mixed in a little bit more in that game, but the Lions trusted Adrian Peterson to get the job done. He started off hot. They trusted him throughout. They ran him throughout, and it ended up working out for the best as they were trying to control time possession. But in games like the Saints, the Packers, games that you're behind, games that you're trying to move the ball down the field, or just any kind of regular situation where you're not necessarily running the clock out, that's where DeAndre Swift can be very, very good because he's your best dual threat running back that you have when it comes to catching the ball in the backfield and rushing it. When he's back there, you don't know which one he's going to do, and he's a threat to do both, okay? He's not a liability. Only place he's maybe a little bit of liability is pass blocking, and that's the one thing that if he can improve on, he's going to get tons of snaps. He's going to get tons of them. And I think we're going to see him continue to get more touches because if you look at week 1, he was on 44% of snaps. He only had 8 touches that week. Only 8 times did he touch the football. I think he's going to get more involved in this offense because, Matthew Stafford loves to use his running backs, and you can see that he likes to attack with them. Now I think you can see his confidence building. Getting him to the outside is clearly the place that you need to get him. He can run in between the tackles, right? He sees the holes where he can be explosive, and that's what you see. You're going to see another play here against Arizona, right? This is the game that he didn't have that many touches, barely had any touches. But again, the blitz comes off the edge. Matthew Stafford goes to the blitz, throws the carry at Swift, and instead of being a 5-yard game, this is a huge game. That's well over 15. It's up about 19, 20 yards for that play. And I think that's what you just see from DeAndre Swift. And the ability's there. And I think his role will continue to expand. And I think we're going to see that as time goes on. A couple of notes I wrote down, right? He's a tough runner. I just think he was a little bit hesitant. And I feel like now that he's coming into his own, he averaged, he was really good last game. You can see the confidence building there. He has the dual threat ability. It's going to be running back by committee. That won't change. Adrian Peterson is great for goal lines and short down situations. And, he's great for that. And he can do enough out of the backfield where it's like, okay, you have to at least respect it. Kerryon can kind of do all, so he'll mix in here and there, just really feeding the hot hand and keeping guys fresh. That's what's great about having 3 running backs. But I think we're going to see DeAndre Swift have more of a role, okay? Because he's getting out there, it's just more of a role, being more involved in plays. And I think that's what we're going to see from DeAndre Swift, okay? Not just a decoy or just a guy that's running out. You're going to see him more involved, especially in the run game. So, yeah, man, DeAndre Swift, I think his role will expand, and it should expand. Let me know your thoughts, comments below. What do you guys want to see me break down next? Thank you, Prep, for watching, and I'm out. Are you kidding me right now? I had to put my helmet on for this one. Are you kidding? Look at this. Look at all these members. What? Yo, hey, shout out to all the members, man. Look how many All-Pro members there are. Like, literally, it's the whole screen, dog. This is crazy. The patrons, of course, the Hall of Fame members, man. Y'all got the gold color. It's kind of yellow, but it's supposed to be gold. Shout out to all the members, man. If you want to be a part of this, all you got to do is join the channel. But there are perks that come with it. Stay locked in the community tab if you are a member because that's where a lot of information comes out. I appreciate all of you. What?